A big thank you to the Ayersville cheerleaders, the Ayersville student section, and to Noah Carrickson of Hicksville. Nice introduction this week.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's great. You know, for Noah, he's a very brave young man. He's going through a lot of hard stuff, and he's doing a great job of fighting through it.
Well, welcome to week 10 of the Tim and Chuck Show, presented by Batten Stevens Body Shop. I'm Tim McDonough, joined by my esteemed colleague, Chuck Martinez-Brandon. We are on location at Frickers of Defiance, and Chuck, it's week 10.
Man.
Playoffs, league championships, it's all on the line this week.
It is do or die. This is it. There is no tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. You know, this time of year, Chuck, everyone's checking out the internet. You got people going to Joe Itel, seeing, are we in, are we out? As someone who coaches high school football as a defensive coordinator at Ayersville, what's this time of the year like?
Man, you know, if you're close like we have been the last 3 years, I mean, you're just biting your nails. You're doing everything in your power. You know, Joe Itel says control your own destiny. You do everything in your power to win games and just let the chips fall where they may.
Well, before we get into all of the other stuff, Chuck, every week our videographer Ethan Matson goes out and gets some great shots,
yes.
and this week was no different. He was at the Ayersville-Hicksville game last week, and some of the highlights, you know, include Noah Carrickson, who we just talked about earlier, you know, coming out with the team in the golf cart. I mean, if you could talk a little bit about Noah and what he's been going through.
Yeah, you know, he's suffering from cancer, and you know, just a brave young man. Thoughts and prayers with him and his family, and they did a great job last week of honoring Noah and making him a big part of that game last week. You know, you can see here with the players taking him out on the field and being a part of it. And us as an Ayersville team, you know, we signed a football for him and did some things for him too, just because everything he's gone through, he's a fighter.
Well, I thought it was really neat. You can see here too that the Ayersville cheerleaders rolled up a banner that was signed by a bunch of Ayersville people and gave it to him on the sideline. That was really neat.
Yep, and the best thing about high school sports is, you know, there's rivalries and this and that, but you know, when it comes down to it, we're all just a big family and just all, you know, supporting each other.
Yeah. I think one of the things that Ethan got on video this week is a new banner that he's hanging up at games, letting people know that after the games on Friday that he videos that the highlights are going to be up on our website.
Yeah,
that's kind of neat.
That's awesome. That way people know, hey, get on your phone while you're in the stands. You know, when they get the scores in at the Crescent-News, the sports department, they put them up right away. So that's great to let people know and to remind them during the games of that.
Well, here's a cute little shot for us that Ethan got. We've got a little girl from Hicksville. She's in the front row of the stands. You got the Hicksville cheerleaders throwing the mini footballs up. She's got her hands out, but she doesn't get a football.
Man, denied. That's just last week it was the freshman. You know, this week it's just the little girl. How can you not give that cute little girl a football?
Yeah. And a little bit of fun here. We've got a clip from the game, and we're not making fun of anyone, but it's just kind of funny to us. We've got Hicksville quarterback Garrett Krall. He's running to his right. Dawson Dales from Ayersville's coming in. He's going to wrap up his legs, but here comes Krall's teammate, Jacob Greer, coming in. I think he tried to get a block on Dawson. Unfortunately, he knocked down his own teammate.
That's just friendly fire. You know, when you got the gas pedal down, sometimes that happens.
All right, well, it's time for our game of the week, but before we get to it, we have a special announcement and some special guests joining us today. First of all, we have a special announcement. The Crescent-News, beginning this year, is going to be sponsoring a trophy called the River Bowl Victory Bell for the annual winner of the Ayersville-Tinora football game. It's brand new this year, and you can see it right here. It's beautiful. We like I said, we're joined by some special guests. We have Ayersville Athletic Director Kirk Jones, Tinora Athletic Director Craig Rutter. Chuck, guys, look at this thing. What do you guys think of this new trophy?
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I mean, it's something I think that will be special for both schools, and obviously there's already a rivalry there, and to add something like this that you see, you know, a lot in the college game where you have trophies that make games meaningful, and this game always seems to be meaningful, and I think a trophy like this will add to that. So we're thankful that we have a local newspaper like the Crescent-News that is so supportive of our high school athletics.
Yeah, Craig,
I totally agree. Yeah, I was blown away when I got here and wasn't sure what the trophy was going to look like and everything. And I'll tell you, Mark Ryan has just done an outstanding job putting this together. This rivals any Division I college trophy that you see passed around on TV, and it's gorgeous. It's beautiful, and would make anyone proud to have this in their trophy case for that year.
Well, you know, Craig, we talked about the rivalry. You guys sort of got it going last week at your place with the volleyball match. Talk a little bit about how the atmosphere was for that.
Well, Ayersville certainly got it going. I'll tell you what, they're the real deal, and we certainly wish them well. We fought hard. Our kids played their hearts out. You couldn't have gotten a better atmosphere. The gym was packed. We actually pulled the bleachers out on the stage to make room for everybody, and just a great atmosphere. Two heated rivals, and then but it was under control, yelling at each other and all that kind of stuff. But when the game was over, our kids had a lot of friends at Ayersville, and they all came together on the floor and talked, and it's what a rivalry should be. It was heated contest, and then we wish the other well, and we move on.
Well, Kirk, you get the joy of hosting the big rivalry game this Friday. Talk about what you're expecting.
Yeah, you know, we're expecting a good crowd first and foremost. I think this is something, you know, fans in the area, it's week 10 of the football season, so those that may not have a meaningful game to go to or don't have football at their school, we're expecting to see some of those people out. But obviously we do this for the kids, and like Craig said with the volleyball game, we would expect the same thing in the football game. It'll be a heated battle, I'm sure, on the field, but these kids know each other, the parents work together, know each other, and it's one of those things that's fun to have that competition while you're on the field and still be able to, you know, talk about it when it's over, and to have a trophy like this involved now, I think just escalates it a little more. You've got GMC title on the line this week and playoff implications, so there's a lot riding on this week, which makes it fun for us as athletic directors, for the coaches, and the fans and the parents, and especially the athletes.
All right, well, we'd like to thank Kirk and Craig for coming out and joining us for our special announcement. And guys, we wish you the best of luck Friday night for your teams and the rest of the school year as you guys prepare for winter and spring sports.
Awesome. Thanks for
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Did you know with an online subscription to the Crescent-News, you can read every article, see every photo, download and read each printed page, and see all of the deals offered by our advertisers? For only $7 a month, you'll know the news in Northwest Ohio as it happens.
And we're back. And before we jump into this week's Collision of the Week and Play of the Week, we are joined by another special guest, Mark Ryan, Advertising Director of the Crescent-News. And he's here to tell us a little bit about how the bell came to be. Mark, tell us a little bit about the idea behind the Victory Bell, the River Bowl Victory Bell, and why now?
Well, the Crescent-News has been involved with the Defiance-Napoleon rivalry for 6-7 years as far as having a traveling trophy for that rivalry game. And that's at the beginning of the football season, and everybody's unbeaten at that time, and there's a lot of excitement between those two schools. That's no different than the schools in the other two schools in our neighborhood, Ayersville and Tinora. And their game has grown into a rivalry which matches that one almost. Also, it's known as the River Bowl. Both of those games have taken on kind of a river flair to it. So given that the Ayersville-Tinora game has been the River Bowl, we thought that it would be appropriate that year after year it's gotten to be such a big game that it did have a trophy presentation along with it. So the Crescent-News thought it was ideally situated, being that those two schools are core to our coverage area, and we thought that it would be appropriate for us to be the one who did that. So we got involved in that, and then it was a matter of coming up with the appropriate idea on what would work out best.
So tell us about how the bell came to be.
Well, kicking around a variety of ideas between many people on the staff, we were thinking about what would be appropriate with the school location and the fact it's a river bowl and so forth. And other than coming up and giving a chunk of the Dahmersville Bridge, we weren't quite sure what would be best. But we wanted a trophy that was different than anything else in a trophy case, something that was unique. And we came across this idea and saw victory bells done at other rivalries, whether it was college or so forth, and we thought it was appropriate to come up with something similar. So it was a beautiful, came together well. Now the winning team can ring their bell for a whole year.
It's beautiful. I think, you know, what's great about it, I think like both athletic directors said, Mark, it's a beautiful trophy.
We got a silver fire bell from a trading company out of Myrtle Beach, and ended up putting a base on it. Stamball Jewelers did the engraving on the plaques and so forth, which has the title on it, the emblems of the two schools, and then on each side there's a plaque that says the year that each team has won. So every year we will take that plaque off and add the year to the appropriate team's plaque on each side. So it'll grow and continue to grow.
Is there anything, Chuck, you'd like to
that's
say
great.
about
I mean,
it?
that's really going to add to the rivalry, and it's going to, add a little fire between the friendly rivalry and the friends on each side. Gives them a little something extra to talk about this week.
Well, we'll be honored to present it to the winning team after the game on Friday night.
Well, thank you, Mark, for joining us and telling the people about how the bell came to be. And like Chuck and I said, it's a beautiful trophy, and it's going to be a great addition to the rivalry.
You're welcome.
And one more thing before we get into the collision of the week and the play of the week, we have this little clip we thought we would like to show that Ethan got of Ayersville defensive coordinator Chuck Martinez-Brandon on the sideline.
Yeah, he's sneaky.
Yeah. What did you say the words, Chuck? Did you say to Ethan, talk to the hand? Yeah.
No, I think he got the point.
Well, that was a little bit of fun before we get into it. But Chuck, it's time for the Rose Insurance Collision of the Week. What do they say about that, Chuck?
Every week they say there's you might get a scratch or a dent, but there's only one collision, like the Rose Insurance Collision of the Week, coming from last week's game, Ayersville at Hicksville. You've got Hicksville running back Dylan Fuller taking the handoff and trying to get out wide, but here comes Double D, Dawson Dales, handing out some two-step violence for one of his 20 tackles last week.
Knocked him out of bounds.
Man, yeah, great hit.
With intent.
Yes.
Yes. That is our Rose Insurance Collision of the Week. It's now time for our Jacobs Meets Play of the Week from that same game. We've got Caleb Cook of Ayersville rolling out to his left, trying to hit Jacob Miller down near the goal line in double overtime. Unfortunately for the Pilots, Peyton Tunis of Hicksville stepped in front of that pass, intercepted it. That was in double overtime. On third down, Garrett Krall, quarterback of Hicksville, snuck in from the one. He scores. That's the game winner, 32-26 Aces. That's our Jacobs Meets Play of the Week. Well, Chuck, every week we thank our sponsors for helping us out. We've got Bat and Stevens Body Shop for being our title sponsor. Frickers for hosting us. Rose Insurance, Jacobs Meets. Once again, thank you.
It's great. What they do for area high school athletics is just great. Second to none, and I'm sure all the athletes appreciate everything they do.
Yeah. Well, once again, follow us on social media. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. If you have any questions for us, our email account is scrolling right beneath us. That will do it for week 10 of the Tim and Chuck Show. But before we get out of here, Chuck, how about some words of wisdom?
Man, I'm standing by this awesome trophy, and all I keep thinking of is Rocky Balboa, and Apollo Creed. Who wants to ring the bell?
Ding, ding. See you next week.